For 12 years, I worked 18-hour days building what became a $47 million restaurant empire. While my older brother Marcus spent his 20s partying and switching between dead-end jobs, I was scrubbing floors at 4 a.m., learning every aspect of restaurant operations from dishwasher to line cook to manager. By 28, I had saved $85,000 and opened my first location, a small Italian bistro in downtown Portland. Marcus never visited during those brutal first 2 years. Not when I was sleeping 4 hours a night, not when I nearly lost everything during the 2019 recession, not when I was eating ramen for dinner because every penny went back into the business. He was too busy dating Instagram models and asking our parents for rent money. My second location opened in 2021. Then my third in 2022. By 2023, I had 7 restaurants across 3 states, each one designed from scratch, each menu personally crafted, each location requiring my signature on leases, permits, and insurance policies. I hired 247 employees. I personally trained 89 managers. Every vendor contract, every supply agreement, every franchise application bore my name alone. The family started paying attention when Forbes mentioned my restaurants in their 30 Under 30 feature. Suddenly, Marcus began showing up to family dinners, talking about our family business, and how proud he was of what we built together. Our parents nodded along as if he had contributed anything beyond criticism and mockery during those early years. "Remember when you helped me plan the first menu?" I asked him once. "I gave you moral support," he replied seriously. "That's invaluable." Marcus started bringing his girlfriend to my restaurants, ordering expensive wine and telling other diners he was part of the ownership team. He never paid for these meals. When servers asked for payment, he would point to me and say, "Put it on the owner's tab. I'm family." The first red flag came during our annual family Christmas dinner. Marcus announced he had been thinking about the business and suggested we formalize our partnership, since he had been instrumental in the success. When I asked what specific contributions he had made, he listed brand development consultation, menu feedback, and strategic family networking. "You've eaten at my restaurants 5 times total," I said. "Quality control," he replied without missing a beat. Our parents exchanged meaningful looks. "Family businesses work best when family members have official roles," Mom said. "Marcus has such good business instincts." "He's never had a job longer than 8 months, I pointed out. "That's because he was waiting for the right opportunity," Dad explained. "Your restaurants." Marcus began inserting himself into my business conversations. When vendors called my cell phone, he would sometimes answer, introducing himself as Marcus, co-owner. When I confronted him, he claimed he was just helping with communications and taking some pressure off me. He started showing up at my restaurants during busy lunch rushes, walking through the kitchen like he owned the place, making suggestions to my carefully trained staff. "Maybe we should change this recipe," he would tell my head chef. "I think customers would prefer more salt." My manager at the Pearl District location called me in January. "Your brother is here asking for keys to the office. He says he needs to review the books." "Don't give him anything," I told her. "He has no authority here." He seemed pretty confident that he did. That evening, Marcus called me furious. "Why are you undermining me in front of the staff? We need to present a united front as ownership." "You're not ownership," I said. "We're family. Family businesses are partnerships. Show me one document with your name on it." "I don't need documents. I'm your brother." The situation escalated when Marcus started making promises to potential investors. A commercial real estate developer contacted me about a new location Marcus had apparently committed us to. "Your brother said you guys are looking to expand into the suburbs," he told me. He seemed very eager to move forward. I had never spoken to this developer. Marcus had found his contact information in my office and set up the meeting without telling me. "Family businesses need family involvement," Marcus explained when I confronted him. "I'm just generating opportunities. You can't make commitments for a business you don't own." "But I will own it. Eventually. That's how family businesses work." Our parents began pressuring me to include Marcus more and help him find his place in the company. They suggested I was being selfish by hogging all the success, and reminded me that family should support family. "He never supported me when I was building this," I said. "But now he wants to help," Mom replied. Isn't that what matters? Marcus escalated to hiring his own lawyer. In February, legal papers arrived at my flagship restaurant addressed to Marcus Romano, co-owner. The documents outlined a partnership dissolution consultation and requested access to all financial records. When I called the law firm, they seemed confused. Your brother hired us to review his options for claiming his share of the business, the lawyer explained. He said there had been some informal agreements that needed formalizing. There were no agreements, formal or informal. He said you had been operating as partners for years but just hadn't done the paperwork. This was when I realized Marcus wasn't just confused about his role. He was actively trying to steal my business through legal manipulation and family pressure. The breaking point came on March 15th, during Sunday dinner at our parents' house. Marcus arrived with a briefcase, printed partnership contracts, and a PowerPoint presentation about Romano Family Restaurants, a restructuring proposal. He had prepared pie charts showing his proposed 25% equity stake, his plans for strategic expansion, and his vision for professional management structure, with himself as chief operating officer. I've been patient, he announced to our parents, but it's time to formalize what we all know is true. This business belongs to the Romano family, not just one member. Our parents nodded approvingly. It makes sense, Dad said. You boys should be partners. Marcus slid the contracts across the table. Just sign here and we can move forward as equal partners. Well, almost equal. I think 25% is fair for now, given your head start. Pie head start. I stared at him. You got lucky with the timing. I would have been involved from the beginning, but I was exploring other opportunities. You were unemployed and living with Mom and Dad until last year. I was waiting for the right moment to join the family business. Marcus had actually typed up official-looking partnership agreements, complete with profit-sharing formulas, management responsibilities and decision-making authorities. He had assigned himself control over marketing and brand development, and given himself signing authority for any expenditures under $50,000. Where did you get these templates? I asked. I've been researching family business law, he said proudly. I know what needs to happen. Our parents were impressed by his preparation. See how seriously he's taking this? Mom said. He's really thought it through. Marcus opened his laptop and began presenting his PowerPoint. Slide 1, Romano Family Restaurants, Unlocking Our Full Potential. Slide 2, Current Inefficiencies in Single-Owner Structure. Slide 3, Benefits of Professional Family Partnership. He had graphs showing projected revenue increases, organizational charts with both our names, and even mock-ups of new restaurant designs featuring Romano Brothers branding. As you can see, Marcus explained, clicking through slides, we're leaving money on the table with the current setup. Family restaurants perform 23% better when they embrace collaborative ownership models. Where did you get that statistic? Industry research, he said vaguely. Slide 7 was titled, Proposed Equity Distribution. It showed him receiving 25% ownership immediately, with a path to equal partnership, within 3 years based on performance milestones he had written for himself. This is incredibly generous, our dad said. You're giving him a quarter of everything you've built. I'm not giving him anything, I said quietly. Marcus ignored this. The beauty of this structure is that it protects both our interests while allowing for growth and professional development. Slide 12 outlined his compensation package. $120,000 annual salary plus profit sharing, company car, expense account, and executive benefits package. You want me to pay you $120,000 a year? I asked. Market rate for a COO in the restaurant industry, Marcus replied confidently. You've never managed anything. I have extensive experience in customer service and business development. You got fired from Applebee's after 3 weeks. That was a cultural mismatch. This is family. Our parents were completely sold. By the end of his presentation, they were talking about Romano Brothers restaurants, as if it already existed, discussing which locations Marcus should oversee, and how proud they were of both their entrepreneurial sons. Marcus saved his contract signing ceremony for dessert. He ceremoniously opened his briefcase, pulled out 2 copies of the partnership agreement, and placed them in front of me with a gold pen. I know this is emotional, he said gently, but it's time to take the business to the next level. Together. Our parents watched expectantly. Mom had her phone ready to take photos of the historic moment. I looked at the contracts. They were surprisingly detailed. Marcus had somehow obtained financial information about my restaurants. Gross revenues, profit margins, expansion plans. He had built his entire proposal around numbers that should have been confidential. How did you get my financial data? I asked. I did my homework, he said. A good partner needs to understand the business. That's when I realized he had been going through my office files during his unannounced visits, photographing documents, gathering information to build his case for ownership. I looked at my brother sitting there in his new suit, completely confident that he deserved a quarter of everything I had built. I looked at my parents, beaming with pride at his business acumen and professional presentation. I opened my own briefcase. Before I sign anything, I said calmly, I think you should see some documents too. I pulled out the original business licenses for all 7 restaurants. Every single one listed me as sole proprietor. Interesting, I said, spreading them across the table. All these say owner, Elena Romano. No mention of Marcus Romano anywhere. Marcus waved dismissively. Those are just filing technicalities. We've been operating as partners in practice. I pulled out the franchise agreements I had personally negotiated and signed. 7 thick contracts, each one requiring extensive financial disclosure, business experience verification, and personal liability acceptance. Here are the franchise agreements, I said, sliding them toward Marcus. Show me where you signed. Show me where you accepted liability. Show me where you put up collateral. Marcus flipped through the pages, his confidence wavering slightly. I mean, I wasn't involved in the paperwork, but... You weren't involved in the paperwork because you weren't involved in the business. I pulled out the property leases. Each one required personal financial guarantees, credit checks, and extensive background verification. Each one had my signature, my social security number, my financial statements. These are the lease agreements for each location, I continued. Each one required a $50,000 security deposit and personal guarantee of all rent payments. Which of these deposits did you contribute? Well, none. Because you weren't there. I spread out the insurance policies. General liability, workers' compensation, property insurance, business interruption coverage. Every policy listed Elena Romano as the insured party and responsible party. Here's $40,000 worth of annual insurance premiums. Which ones did you pay? Marcus was looking less confident now, but our parents were still nodding along, waiting for his explanation. I pulled out the loan documents from when I expanded into my second and third locations. Personal guarantees for $300,000 in small business loans, each one requiring extensive financial documentation and collateral. These are the expansion loans, I said. Each one required personal assets as collateral. I put my condo up as collateral for the downtown location. What assets did you contribute? I provided strategic support. You weren't there. I opened my laptop and pulled up the business bank account records. Every transaction, every deposit, every payment flowing through accounts that bore my name and social security number. These are the business banking records going back 5 years, I said, turning the screen toward him. Every dollar of revenue deposited, every expense paid, every payroll processed. Show me one transaction that involved you. Marcus stared at the screen, his PowerPoint confidence completely evaporated. I pulled out my final documents. The Articles of Incorporation for Romano Restaurant Group, LLC, filed with the state 3 years ago when I formalized the business structure. And here, I said, placing the incorporation documents on top of everything else, is the official business registration. One owner, one member, one person legally responsible for everything. Elena Romano. The table was now covered with contracts, licenses, agreements, insurance policies, loan documents, and business registrations. Hundreds of pages of official documents, all bearing my name, all requiring my signature, all making me personally liable for every aspect of the business. Not one document mentioned Marcus Romano. So here's my question, I said calmly, looking directly at my brother. Based on what legal authority are you claiming ownership of my business? Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time in 12 years he had nothing to say. Our parents looked at the documents spread across the table, finally beginning to understand what I had been trying to tell them. But he's family, Mom said weakly. Being family doesn't create ownership, I replied. Legal documents create ownership. Financial investment creates ownership. Personal liability creates ownership. 12 years of 18-hour days create ownership. I started collecting my documents, placing them back in my briefcase. Marcus, you're welcome to eat at my restaurants anytime. As a customer, you're welcome to continue telling people you're proud of my success. But you're not my partner, you're not my co-owner, and you're not getting 25% of anything I built. Marcus finally found his voice. But I can help you grow the business. Then go build your own business and show me how it's done. I closed my briefcase and stood up. Thanks for dinner, Mom. The partnership meeting is over. As I walked to the door, I could hear Marcus frantically explaining to our parents that the documents don't tell the whole story, and family businesses are different from legal businesses. But the documents told the only story that mattered. 3 days later, Marcus called me, furious that I had humiliated him in front of the family, and demanding that I reconsider the partnership for the sake of family unity. I'm opening 2 more locations this summer, I told him. You're welcome to apply for a job like everyone else. He hung up. Last week, I received a certified letter from Marcus's lawyer, threatening legal action for unjust enrichment and implied partnership agreements based on family expectations. I forwarded the letter to my business attorney, who called me laughing. He literally has no legal standing whatsoever, she told me. This is the business equivalent of someone demanding ownership of your house because they visited a few times. That's essentially what he's doing. I'll send a response. This will be the easiest case dismissal I've ever written. Yesterday, Marcus posted on Facebook about supporting family businesses and the importance of recognizing everyone's contributions. He tagged several of my restaurants in the post. I had him banned from all my locations. The 8th and 9th Romano restaurants open next month. Both will feature my signature alone on every document, every contract, every business decision. Just like the first 7. Family doesn't create ownership. Work creates ownership. And I've put in all the work.